As countries in Asia and Africa vie with each other to modernize their cities to attract capital investment, they are caught in a paradigm of development which requires them, as their first action, to evict the poor who squat in the cities. Never mind that the same development paradigm never factors in issues of city growth or consider the lack of viable housing for poor people. A myopia which only serves to generate more slums. At the same time, many of these governments have signed various international covenants that seek to stop evictions. In fact, the Millennium Development Goals go beyond just wanting to stop evictions to wanting to improve the lives of 100 million slum dwellers in a matter of another decade. And yet, cities continue to evict their poor. For many decades now, international development agencies and NGOs all over the world have experimented with and explored many strategies at international fora to stop evictions worldwide. Some attention goes to some hotspots, but soon the crisis of evictions there is forgotten. Yet regardless of how involved and committed the global community is to prevent evictions, this effort has to be matched by local activism that seeks to change the situation city by city and country by country.
There is a deadlock between the community and NGOs and the political system. Demolition means demolition, we are not talking to you. Who will help us to have a dialogue?
The Asian Coalition of Housing Rights, ACHR, and the Shack Dwellers International, STI, are two transnational networks that have sought to facilitate local communities who face such evictions to change their roles from being victims of a destructive development process to being activists who engage the state and other institutions.
Have a dialogue, city authority, community, and the funding forces to have a dialogue. And see what could we do?
Having explored community-driven strategies that persist in engaging the state and the city, many eviction practices of such cities have been put on hold, and demolitions have given way to efforts towards crafting viable solutions that work for the city and for its poor. Let's look at some of the examples of community practices in these cities. Let's start with Mumbai, in India. For over 30 years, pavement dwellers in Mumbai have fought evictions. Assisted by SPARC, NSDF and Mahila Milan, the Pavement Dwellers Federation in Mumbai, the Municipal Corporation of the city and its police force have begun to pilot a strategy for relocating pavement dwellers in a manner so that the affected community plans and designs their own relocation. Let's take the example of the slums along the railway track in the same city. Slum dwellers encroaching on railway land have managed to get the government, the World Bank, and the Indian Railways to allow community to design and execute a relocation of over 14,000 households rather than take the eviction route. Let's go to Bangkok, in Thailand, where communities have negotiated land sharing and where today the UCDO, which is a government agency, now assists these dialogues between the city and the community and finances the solution.
Task force have to work very tactfully, not to own all the problems yourself, but creating lots of space, so lots of people are able to deal or to work with this kind of issue to prevent, to start their development or to stop the crisis which already happening.
Secure housing, water supply, electricity.
In Cambodia, ACHR and STI have convinced the Prime Minister Hun Sen to replace his eviction-driven strategy of city development with a campaign to improve 100 slums every year. Today, settlements previously threatened by evictions are now engaged in city-wide slum upgrading efforts. All over the world, some good solutions are emerging. Cities are listening. Good policies do get actualized, but many of the others don't know about this or how they are crafted. Over the years, strategies have evolved that have proved to be the basis for city and the poor communities to start talking to each other. SDI and ACHR provide opportunities for informal settlements in Asia and Africa interested in exploring a solution to evictions to meet successful communities that have sorted their problems. Poor communities who have successfully made the transition from demolition to development now assist others to explore this possibility, assisted by ACHR and SDI. Internally, communities have begun to save and manage money. This helps them form strong community networks. The daily transaction of money produces enduring relationships that in turn create strong networks that can survive the long delays that are part and parcel of negotiating for land and housing. Rarely do cities have accurate data about the poor, where they live and what they do. Communities collect this data themselves and use it as the basis of planning for change together with city authorities. The housing exhibition is a public demonstration of people's aspirations. It is a strategy where the dream house, often a simple, humble dwelling designed by the communities, forms the location of a dialogue between the city and its poor. At the end of the day, stopping evictions is a global commitment that has to be actualized in localities. This has to be done by getting people facing evictions and the state or the city enforcing the evictions to collectively craft solutions that work for everybody. A campaign against eviction has 3 challenges it must face. First, it has to create both a global and a national opinion that makes evictions a human right violation. Second, to support strong local activism against eviction with a long-term commitment to create sustainable solutions. And third, most importantly, to anticipate hotspots where evictions could start, but where preemptive action can produce an amicable solution. Supporting strong local action with global support is the answer. Without ensuring this vital connection, this campaign will be one more hollow global promise to the poor that fails to produce any change in the quality of their lives.